Good evening, Mr. Controller.
Good
Good to
evening.
see you again. I know we spoke last night, but I'm here today because I looked through the budget, I looked through other things, but I want to make sure because, I did win to be the next city councilman. I will be sworn in January, right? But I want to make sure that you guys all know that I'm here to give the hard questions. I'm not here to be comfortable with anybody. We spoke about the audits. We always speak about it because when you put them out, I'm one of the first people to read them and get back to you on that particular thing. I wanted to be here because I want to make sure people know how bad we are in financial situation. We are currently $260 million in current debt. You know that. And $414 million in long-term liability. That's putting us at about $600 million in debt that we're going to have to pay. My projections were correct the last time when we put out this 2019 audit and the other audits, and I told you we would be at 400 million. I was off by 14 million. I'm looking at our outgoing constantly of where we're going to be at by the time we hit 2025, and we're going to be close to $1 billion as a small city to be owing that type of money. I went through this budget, I analyzed this, I look at this in sense, and I see that we've been raising the taxes five in the 23, it was 5.6, then 7.7 and 7.7. Now we're talking about 6.9. However, each time we do the projections on revenue increase, we have lost every single time. We never meet our revenue projections, and everyone is saying that we're doing better or getting better, but we're getting worse. Let me tell you how. In 2023, we landed $4 million short of what we projected in the revenue. The actuals came out $4 million low. 2024, we went to $7 million short. So now we are $11 million in debt going forward because we were short again. In 2025, which you had stated that's in this budget right now, so far we are $30 million short, which means we have to make $5 million a week just to break even with what our proposed budget was. We are actually continuously inflating the revenues. We never hit those revenues because we want to play politics. And what we're doing is drowning ourselves deeper and deeper in the water. And we are going down, down, down. By the time we continue at this rate, because I went through this budget for about an hour and I've already seen so much stuff in this that's fluff, that is fake revenue projections, that is going to put us out of reach again. As we continue with these audits, and I'm here to put it on the record because I want people to know that I said we're going to be close by the 2025 audit. When they come out in June, you said close to $1 billion in debt. And I need to know how we're planning on creating revenue streams that can reverse this, and how we plan on making money for the city to reverse this. We are spending almost $2 for every $1 we get. It is ridiculous at the rate that we are going. This budget needs to be looked at. It needs to be worked on hard, and it needs to go down. I'm not here, and I say that in front. I see Madam Mayor there. I see other council people or whatever. I'm here to go along to get along. I'm here to do the work for the people that elected me to be here. And I know you are because we have these conversations all the time. So I'm not about going over the 2% tax cap. What I'm looking at doing and saying is when we know we have actuals, this, actual, you have a base to work from. You don't put out a budget of we need $200 million, then figure out how to fluff revenue to pretend that we're going to make that, because we're not. We haven't made it in years. We're always short. So it is better to start from the actual and say, okay, we actually made $70 million. So let's start from the $70 million and everybody work within that $70 million and make that work. And you know what? If we go over and make $80 million, great. We got $10 million extra. We could start paying down some of this long-term debt liabilities, buy fire trucks or the garbage trucks that we need. But we can't continue doing it this way. I printed out something I'm going to leave with you also, so you can see it for yourself. Each one of these department breakdowns on how we're looking at stuff and how we went over every budget that we put out. And it's ridiculous. And not only that, I'm going to say for city council, which I put on the top, which is first, okay, city council did well. They spent less money. It's showing less money in the budget. Okay, so they have a 10% minus 10%. Everybody else has a big increase. Department of Highway and Maintenance, you guys got 121% increase coming. You look at the DPW shade trees, you have 205% increase coming. You have 105% increase on the architectural architectural board and reviews. You don't say, hey, we made less money. Okay, we're not making money. So you know what? Let's raise the taxes. We're gonna need more money because we're getting tired of being a bank. I'm a taxpayer too, just like everybody else. I might be coming in as a councilman, but I am a taxpayer with property here. And I'm getting tired of paying this increase because you guys, not you, I'm not saying you when I say that, because the city does not know how to do a budget. That is the problem. Stop spending more money than we have. Spend within our needs. I'm not going to keep on going because I know we have a lot of people here. I'm going to leave this with you and some of the other things. And I know you said 96% of the tax revenues are coming in from these actuals. So far, I've only saw like 50 something percent coming in from those actuals of the budget.
Right.
So
Okay, so
maybe
I don't know.
I might be wrong.
You are wrong, but you're not wrong because of what's in front of you. It appears as if there's also something that's missing from the actual line here, right? Because one, I'm looking on this document
Right, and
for
I'm looking
the
at this.
property taxes,
Right,
and I don't see that.
correct.
So
And that's
we
what I was
need-
going to ask you.
right. So this document needs to be
Yeah,
updated.
and there's a lot of things we don't see because let me tell you, I don't see any of the lawsuit situations, even in contingency, or we even thinking about that. Because if Kayla Tennis wins, we're bankrupt.
They can't be in the budget, sir.
So I know it can't be in the budget, but
right,
I'm
but so-
wait.
so all I'm
I know it
asking-
can't. Wait.
so-
I'm not
so-
saying it needs to be in the budget,
Right.
but it needs to be transparent to the community.
It is.
That we are going to be bankrupt if they win.
Okay, it is.
Okay.
It is transparent. So
Where?
let me move. It's transparent in my reports to the public. It
Okay.
is constantly there.
It wasn't in the
As-
audit reports, but it's in a different report.
It's not, it wouldn't be in audit reports. It
Okay.
would be it's in the quarterly reports that I give, which talks about all of the liabilities. It is absolutely there, right? And in those reports, I also talk about beyond what is the budget, items that are in this budget. So I hear what you're saying. And again, as I said earlier, I've already done analysis of the revenues and already given also recommendations to the administration and to the council about what those adjustments and those changes are. So I will look at what you have there as well. Now, let me get back to your first question. You and I have had this discussion before,
Correct.
right? The millions of dollars of debt related to the accrued liabilities for the staffing and basically their accrued time is all of the things that now are being reported as a part of our actual audits, which previously was not. We are not out of alignment with other municipalities as it pertains to having accrued liabilities. Those accrued liabilities will also be, that's a balance sheet item that also will be dealt with as we also deal with our fund balance and our return. Having said that, you are absolutely correct that we have to begin to, at least from the standpoint of what we see as accruing on an annual basis, to be able to budget for it, right? And so that has to be baked into as we begin to rebuild, one, our fund balance, two, also do our financial plan. The whole purpose around doing this multi-year financial plan was to get a base understanding of what are those elements and those things that we absolutely needed. So I'm not disagreeing with you that we have to begin to plan for it, but we don't have to begin to plan, we don't have to plan for the magnitude of what it is that you are actually saying. Because unless everybody retires, right, or dies.
And that's not
at the
going to
same
happen.
time, right.
And we talked
Then
about
we
long-term
will not
already.
that liability to come to fruition at one time. It is over periods of time
Correct.
in which we have to kind of
Correct.
plan for. So thank you.
However, one last question. That current debt continues to grow each year as we miss the mark. So we are going further and further down. So are we paying attention to that? Because if it's 4 million one year, 7 million the next year, that's 11 million. With 30 million, I don't think we're going to hit that mark of 30 million by December 31st.
Part of it was that the years that you're talking about are also years in which the city did not also have an appropriate, I'm gonna say it this way, an appropriate mechanism for also keeping track of accrued time, right? That did not occur.
Is it in place
until
now?
Yes, that did not occur until 2023, right? So, yeah, what you're seeing is based upon estimates of what was there and information that is not as reliable based upon the timeframes, right? But we have, to your point, we do have a mechanism in place to manage that going forward, which was, again, the reason why we also implemented some new elements to the time and attendance program.
So let me ask you one question. Hold on, this is the only question. Are we going to meet this revenue that I have here? That's it. That's the question. Are we going to meet it as present?
I've already voiced my concern about the revenue line.
It's just a yes or no.
I can't, I'm
You don't
telling
think so?
I'm telling you that there's areas in which I have concern, which I've communicated to the mayor, and that will need absolute clear management of if you're going to meet them. I've identified them in the presentation. I identified them in my conversations the other day. And the mayor also has provided what she believes that the administration will be able to do. Those questions, any more details about that, have to be asked on December 1st.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Good evening. I appreciate the town hall. Axel Eberman, I'm a resident of Mount Vernon. I moved here 10 years ago. Ever since, we've been in a financial permit crisis, and I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of hearing the excuses. I know you're working hard. I know you're one of the most responsive people at City Hall, but with all the details and the minutia, I think we're losing the plot a little bit. And the plot is that I think Mount Vernon City Hall has forgotten what they're supposed to be doing, which is provide good government, good services that are needed at a minimum of cost to the taxpayers. And that has stopped a long, long time ago. We moved here 10 years ago, like a lot of people, because we didn't have a lot of money. We bought a house for $315,000, which had holes in the roof and was crumbling. Our taxes by now are pushing $20,000. I'm paying 6% of what that house cost me every year in property taxes. That is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. The taxes have gone up 40% the last 5 years, 6% now again. So with everything that you're saying, that all of our elected officials are saying, we should be on an austerity budget. I'm not seeing that at all. We're hiring one fluff position after the other. People, directors, yesterday they were interns, today they're making $130,000. You never see them again. We have documented instances from lawsuits of people in those positions who are no-shows. We know they're not here. And I'm not making this up because it's been documented. I have never seen an iota of accountability about that. And so we are discussing all these minutiae and whatsoever. The ingrained culture of cronyism and patronage that is sucking us dry is never addressed. It's like the mafia had an omerta. There are things you can talk about. And this is what I feel is going on. So let's bring the city back to what they're supposed to do. Police, fire, DPW. Provide the services to keep the lights on, things running, and everything else needs to be on the table. One thing that should be, the only thing that the city understands is to tax homeowners and residents. The business development is horrendous. Why? Because the mayors are always hiring their political campaign managers to be the business development managers, although they have no idea what they're doing. So what is the IDA doing? That should be the motor of this city. They're handing out tax exemption to low-income housing projects, which is an abuse of them. They're not supposed to be doing that at all. We have another one up right now that will put a 30-year tax liability on the city. I'm 51 right now. I couldn't be a grandfather. 30 years ago, I was 21. I just gotten out of high school. This is how long you're putting Mount Vernon into debt with these absolute ill-conceived residential pilots. It is horrendous, and I'm going to leave it at that. Just because you mentioned the why and how it's not in the budget anymore. It's assessed at, I think, something $1 million from 2018. On paper, you want to sell it for $1.5 million on a 7-year-old evaluation. The city itself has it on its assessment rolls as market value of $5.6 million. Please don't give this away. There's much more value in that property. Thank you. But I really think we need to go back to the basics. All this minutia is bamboozled. We're drowning in these numbers, and the city has really forgotten what they're supposed to be doing. Thank you.
Thank you.